We blew it up. The twin turbo F150 is back. We blew it up. It's back now, cause look at that. We blew the motor, and now we have new and improved engine components. Okay, we're doing this now. It's time to start honing the cylinders. What we're going to do now, this is gonna be the start of this whole thing, and it's very, very important that you do this every time you rebuild an engine and you've got new rings going in it, anything like that. I've got my trusty dingleberry hone. With these, this is by Flex Hone. We're not sponsored. That would be cool. What this does is it resurfaces the inside cylinder walls to get the best cross-hatching possible. Now, why do we want to do that? Because you need to have cross-hatching so you have good oil spread on your ring. When your piston goes up, there's a little bit of oil residue that rests on the cylinder walls below the piston ring. You want to have that there. Helps with, you know, your compression and everything like that, and it helps with efficiency too. We don't really care about that, but gotta do it right. What you need to do, have a drill that's anywhere from 500 to 800 RPM. How I did that with this is I took an app that I had found. It strobes a light at a specific RPM that you can set it to. On the app, I put it to 780 and then put a dot, a little yellow dot on the chuck. Pretty much just adjusted the speed of the strobe until I got it to make that dot stay in one place while I was pulling the trigger. Now I know that this thing has a revolution of 780 per minute. Perfect. Next step, we're gonna take this and we're gonna cover it in 10W30 oil. We're going to pretty much send it down the cylinder. I think it's about 45 seconds that you're supposed to do it in one cylinder. So you're supposed to have at least, like it says 60 to 120 strokes per minute. You're only gonna have that in there actually spinning for about 20 to 45 seconds. You don't want to have it any more than that, because then you're taking metal away, and unless you're boring it out, you don't want to do that. But what we're going to do now, I'm going to cut to a time lapse. I'm going to test hit a couple of these cylinders. Let's freaking build an engine, man. I've been waiting forever. Okay, so all the cylinders are honed. I took it outside, degreased it, pressure washed it, and so now I'm gonna throw some paint on it, you know, make it look a lot cleaner, just because all the old paint kind of flaked off. Next, we've got to take all of our piston rings, which is a lot, and gap each one to like 30 thousandths. So that's gonna take a minute. I don't know if I'm gonna time lapse it or not. Maybe I'll show you all how to do it. And then from there, put them around the pistons, put the pistons together with the connecting rods, and then throw them back in here. Oh man, bottom end's gonna be done. And then we've got to rebuild one head, because that's the one that the piece of the piston went through. Yeah, it's good though, because it's not terribly damaged, so I think I can salvage what we have. Otherwise, we'd be buying a brand new head, and I do not want to do that. All right. Okay, so I'm assembling the bottom end. I got the crank in and thrust bearings are in. The next step for me is to insert these dowels, right? Well, they were not wanting to fit. Some of them would slide in, but barely, and I'd have to smack them in with the hammer. So I have them in the freezer right now. I'm gonna pull them out, and then hopefully they just slide right in, and then I can line up the bolts and then actually torque the main caps and then torque the side bolts. So on the main caps, you want to start off by, installing all your bearings, put your crank in, and then put your cap on. And then you want to torque your main caps to about 27 to 32 foot-pounds. Well, if you've got a nice, torque wrench, this one does your 0 angle. So if I can, when I go angle 0, so then after it does that, so I could just set it to 65 degrees. In this case, we're gonna go, it's gonna be anywhere between 85 and 95. I'm gonna go 95 just to do it. All your bolts, you need to make sure that they have at least some engine oil on them. You never wanna do it dry because it causes a lot of resistance and it will give you improper readings on your torque wrench. Once you get the main bolts in, then you want to take your dowels and throw your dowels in the sides, make sure they line up, put your cross bolts in, and then your cross bolts are going to be around 8 foot-pounds, around 7 to 8 foot-pounds, and then like 85 degrees turned. And then after that, you should be good on your bottom end, and then you can move on to installing your connecting rods. But in this case, we've got all the rings to gap. So once we gap all the rings, then we'll install them one by one into the engine and make sure they're all good. Dude, once that's done, hey, we gonna put our heads on and get this thing freaking ready to go back in the truck. So now we're gonna start assembling the connecting rods and all of the piston rings. So here's an old one. You can tell it's old because it's all dirty. Okay, so thank God this isn't a press fit piston pin, because yeah, then I'd be having to have a jig and all that stuff. So you just pull out these little C-clips. That one's gone. Then you push it out, pull it out, and there you go. There's your piston pin, and you can pull your connecting rod. Now on your connecting rods, on the stock ones at least, they have usually 2 marks. So if you look at this side, there's no marks on the sides. And here you go, there's the mark there and then your mark here. Those 2 marks indicate that you have to have the connecting rod facing forward on the engine. On the piston, they have the same type of thing. It'll have either an arrow or it'll have a dot or an F on the piston skirt saying, oh, front. All right, here's our new piston, and they're dished too. So we'll lose a tiny bit of compression, which is not bad because I'm already at a 9.5 to 1 or something like that. A little bit less would be good for what we're doing boosting wise. Pull your piston pin out. You can see there's an arrow facing toward which side needs to be to the front. Also, there's an F right there. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You just get it, put it through the hole. I'm gonna put assembly lube just cause. And then once you get that installed, then you can start putting in your clips. Don't forget those, they're very important. If you don't have those clips, your piston pin's gonna come out and destroy your sidewall of your cylinder. Piston's installed, you have the F in the front, and then you have your markers in the front. There you go, you're doing right. Now, piston rings. So you wanna do your gapping based off of what cylinder you're putting that piston in. So this is gonna be number 1, and so we're gonna mark it to number 1. So let's go ahead and do that. Have a piston off to the side so that way you can use it to push your piston ring into the cylinder to properly measure it. If it's not perfectly flat, then it's not going to get an accurate measurement. This ring I already gapped, but we're gonna go ahead and double check to make sure that we're still good and it's still on the correct cylinder. Go ahead and just insert it there, right on the outside of the combustion chamber area. Take your push piston and push it about midway where the skirts are about flush with the top of the block, and then get your feeler gauge. I have mine set to about 0.029, so it'll roughly be around 30. And then you want to take it and put it in and make sure that it moves freely between the two gaps. So right now we're having it to where it's moving freely, yeah. So this one's good. Now we can take this this ring, and usually they'll have an indicating mark for top, but these ones don't have it, at least on the first ring. The second ring does have it, so make sure you always pay attention to that, because if you install them the wrong way, then you'll just wear them away real quickly. So grab your ring and you want to spiral it on there. So kind of do like that. Very nice, very easy, fits perfect. So let's move on to our second ring. This is going to be in this area, so our second line in the ringland. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did for the first one, but on the second one. And if you look, this guy has an indicating mark, so that's going to go towards the top of the piston. So starting off, you're going to put it back into your cylinder, the one you're going to install it in, and then measure the gap. It's probably going to be really, really thin. If it's stock, it's probably going to be perfect. If you're boosting it, you need to have it gapped. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you hit 30. Yeah, so that's 0.017, and we're at 0.029. So yeah, there's a lot more gap when you have a boosted vehicle, because you have a lot more heat, a lot more air, which causes the metal to expand just ever so slightly more, but enough to break your piston if you don't have it gapped properly. So with the ring filer, you have to be extremely careful that you don't overdo it. They can easily get over grinded, especially if you put too much pressure, and it'd be nice to have an electronic one that does it for you, but those cost a lot of money. You take your ring and you push them up against these two dowels right here and make sure it's a little bit even, and then so I already know how much I have to go on my initial start, because after doing 5 of those, it's still not going to be close. So I'm going to be going back and forth over and over until it's perfect. So let me get this ring done and get the other oil skirt rings on, and then I'll move on to showing you how to install the piston to the engine. Real quick, huge shout out to Max Heating Rods. Max Heating Rods is a global parts company that strives to make good quality parts with an affordable price. They sell everything from turbos to high quality coilovers and much more. We've been using their turbos for a while now, because we don't have to break the bank to get them. And if you use code 2022, you will get 22% off your order. So again, thanks Max Heating Rods, and let's get back to the video. Now we got all the rings on. Let me just show you real quick. So the oil scraper ring, very easy. You don't have to gap them. First you put on the little squiggly ring, your oil scraper ring, and then you have these 2 rings that go on afterwards. Now you take your piston, then you take your piston ring compressor, match it up against the, and then you're gonna cinch this thing down. Try to get it even. So get it nice and stiff, nice and tight. Make sure you put assembly lube on every bearing surface. Remember, make sure your indicator and your piston is facing forward when you install it, forward of the engine. Insert, get like your dead blow, and then use this end, and then just tap her in. Gonna rotate it around. What I like to do is rest it inside, away from the journal of the crank, and then take my assembly lube and then pick up the connecting rod, and then I drop a little bit of assembly lube on there while it's inside, and then I'll kind of just Put it around the bearing surface, make sure I got it good, even coat all the way around. And then I rotate my journal back over, and there you go. And when you put on your connecting rod cap, they only go on one way. The way they make these things is they forge the whole thing and then they break them in the center. So there's no way you can install it improperly. There you go, there's even an indicator mark on it right there. So you throw that guy in and torque it up. I'm not gonna torque each one as we go. I'm gonna put them all in and then torque them all at the end. So now I can actually bust ass and get it all done. Okay, now it's time to put the heads on the engine. Yay, we're almost there. We just got the truck in, just got delivered via tow truck. So now we just gotta finish the motor. Well, I'm gonna be painting stuff too, and then I have to get the truck in here, put it on the lift behind me, and then, you know, paint the engine bay, stuff like that. If you need information on doing the heads, like torque sequences and stuff, then check out my last video. I think it's number 3 or 4. Check it out. All right, everyone. This video is getting pretty long, so we're gonna go ahead and cut it here. I have a lot of different stuff going on in the next video. We're going to be building the turbo mount bracket that's gonna be coming off the motor and doing a bunch of other cool stuff. So stay tuned. I can't wait to share this stuff with y'all. I have been waiting to do this turbo build for like a year since it last broke. So thanks everyone for watching. And remember, like and subscribe, and keep on boosting the world.